Summer can feel like a dead time for your data career. Hiring often feels slower, people are traveling, and it's easy to tell yourself that you will start taking your data analyst job search seriously in September. But if I were trying to break into data analytics this summer, I would not spend July and August only taking courses. I would use them to build one strong project and position myself in the market and test my job search before fall even begins. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I would use the summer, what I would focus on each month, and what I would have ready before September. Because most aspiring analysts make the same mistake. They separate learning from the job search, and they wait until they feel absolutely ready before updating their LinkedIn, reaching out to people, or showing their work. And by the time the fall arrives, they're still trying to prep to begin. So the plan has two tracks running at the same time. The first is going to be building skills and proof that employers need to see. The second is positioning yourself so the right people can actually find, understand, and trust that proof. By the end of the video, you will have a clear summer schedule, specific checkpoints, and a system you can accelerate in the fall instead of starting from zero in September. But first, let's talk about why spending the whole summer studying is probably the slowest version of this plan. Most beginners build their summer plan like this: July, take courses; August, take more courses; September, maybe start a portfolio. And then October finally hits and they fix their resume and their LinkedIn. And somewhere down the line, they start applying. Do you see the problem? They stacked everything end to end. One thing has to be totally finished before they start the next one. And look, learning during the summer is not a mistake. Learning is good, but the mistake is waiting for one stage to be perfect before you allow yourself to begin the next one. The truth is, you will never feel ready, ever. I didn't even feel ready when I landed my first data job. I just knew SQL, Excel, and Tableau well enough to solve a real business problem, and I made sure people could actually see that. That's it. Every month that you spend hiding inside another course is a month that you're not getting the one thing that tells you what the market actually wants: feedback. You can build skills, improve how you show up, meet people, and watch how employers react to your profile all at the same time. These things are not supposed to happen in a straight line. They're supposed to happen together. And let's talk about why people actually get stuck here. Courses feel safe. When you're inside a course, no one can reject you. There's no recruiter ghosting you. There's no interview where you freeze up. It's just you, a video, and a comfortable feeling that you're making progress. But comfortable and progress are not the same thing. Ready enough doesn't mean you have watched every video and earned every badge. Ready enough means you can take a messy data set, ask a smart question, and come back with an answer that generally helps someone make a decision. And the day you can do that, even a little bit, you're ready enough to start becoming visible. Not in the fall, but even right now. So instead of treating the summer like one long study block, I'd split it into two tracks that run side by side. So track one: build. This is your essential skills. One project that actually matters in your target market. Getting yourself interview ready and proof, real proof that you can actually solve a business problem. Track two is position. This is researching the exact role that you want, cleaning up your resume and your LinkedIn so they point straight to that role. Networking, sharing your work out in the open, and starting early conversations and testing how the job market reacts to you before you're betting everything on it. Here's one rule that holds this whole thing together: every week should move both tracks forward. You should never spend an entire month only consuming information. If a whole month goes by and the only thing you've produced was just watching videos, you did it wrong. You're not building skills first and looking for opportunities later. You're building skills while you learn how the job market responds to them. All right, quick pause. Now, if you want to land your first job in data analytics and avoid the lengthy mistakes that I did, click the link in the pinned comment where you can find the exact steps that my students use to land their job in data analytics without going back to school. All right, now let's get back to it. Now, if you're wondering how to split your time, don't overthink it. Early on, lean a little heavier on build because you need something real to show. And I'll tell you which track beginners neglect every single time. It's positioning. They'll happily do their 10th SQL course before they'll even write a LinkedIn post because building feels safe, but positioning feels scary. The students of mine who move fast, the ones who go from delivery van or classroom to an analyst in less than a year, did the very scary one early, and that makes a whole difference. And this all starts in week one with a decision most people will skip completely. Now, before you pick a single course, before you touch a single tool, you decide what kind of analyst you actually want to be: marketing analyst, operations analyst, healthcare, financial analyst, or just a general data analyst. Pick a direction because here's what happens when you skip this. You end up learning a little bit of everything and not enough of anything. You become a universal beginner, and universal beginners don't get hired. So here's your week one. First, go pull up 20 real job descriptions for the role that you want. 20, not 2, not 4, 20, and read them like a detective or just put them all in AI. What tools keep showing up? What business problems do they keep mentioning? What industries? The patterns will jump out at you fast. When you see SQL in 18 out of 20 job postings, that's not a suggestion, that is going to be your map. Second, make a simple gap analysis. 3 columns, already have, need to improve, not necessary yet. Be honest with yourself here. That third column is your secret weapon because it gives you permission to ignore half the stuff the internet told you that you needed. Third, pick one target industry. And whenever you can, use the experience that you already have. If you come from healthcare, target healthcare analytics. If you drove trucks, logistics and supply chain is wide open for you. Your past isn't baggage, it's your edge. The fastest movers that I've coached didn't hide their old careers, they just aimed their new one right at it. By the end of week one, you should have one target industry, a short list of skills that keep coming up, and one clear learning priority for the whole summer. Is 20 job descriptions enough? Yes, because you're not trying to read the entire market. You're trying to find the patterns, and the patterns show up fast. Now, once you know the target, July is where you build just enough skills to be dangerous. Here's the rule for July. You learn your skills around the project that you're building. You don't try to learn every tool on its own first. That's how people end up 6 months deep with no project or nothing to show. Based on your target role, your stack is probably going to be a mix of Excel, spreadsheets, SQL, one visualization tool like Tableau and Power BI, and the thing that no one puts on the list but everyone needs, clear analytical thinking and communication. And Python, only bring it in when you constantly see that in your target job descriptions, or if your project actually needs it. I learned Excel, SQL, and Tableau first and landed a job before I ever touched Python, because Python without a foundation is just an expensive confusion. If you're going to go for marketing or general analytics, I start with Excel and SQL. SQL is the most requested skill set in analyst job postings, so it tends to pay you back faster than most anything else you can learn. And every week in July should end with something you can clearly see: a clean data set, a set of SQL queries that answer a question, a chart, a written insight, a small piece of your project. If your week ended with no artifact or anything to point at, that week didn't count. So here's a checkpoint that matters. By the end of July, can you take a manageable data set and produce one useful answer without following a tutorial step by step? That's the test. Not did you finish the course. Can you solve a basic problem on your own? If you can pause the video and look at a data set and know what to do next, even when you have to Google the exact how, you've hit the level that you need. That's real. Everything else is just collecting receipts that no one asked for. But while you're building in July, you don't get to stay invisible. Here's the part that most roadmaps leave out. So you're not going to wait until your project is perfect to start building your professional visibility. You're going to start now in July while you're still learning. Step one, update your LinkedIn early. Your profile should make 3 things obvious: the role that you're targeting, the industry experience that you already have, and the skills you're building right now. You don't have to lie. You don't have to call yourself something that you're not. You just have to point in a direction. Step two, start connecting with people. Analysts in your target industry, recruiters, hiring managers, other career changers walking the same road that you are, local professional groups. And no, you're not sliding into anyone's messages of begging for a job. You're building real relationships before you ever need anything from them. Step three, share your process. Post what you're learning, a small insight from your project, a chart that you redesigned, a business question that you dug into, a mistake that you made and fixed. You're not pretending to be an expert. You're showing up as someone who is clearly and visibly doing the work. And here's the thing that most people are missing. That's actually more attractive to employers than a polished profile, because watching someone build in public builds trust faster than perfection that came out of nowhere. So aim to post about 2 to 3 times a week. You don't need to post every day. Consistency beats intensity every single time. All right, so that's July. Build the skill, become visible. Now, August is where you turn all into proof. August has one job. Take everything that you built and turn it into one project that proves that you can do the work, not 5 weak projects, one strong one. And it has to connect to your target industry, a real business problem. Skip the generic tutorial projects that everyone else has. If you're going to use a common data set, reframe it so hard it looks like the real work no one else has done. Now, here's how you structure it. You start with the business question: what decision or problem is this analysis actually solving? Then your data. And please use a data set with some mess in it, because messy data is where you get to show your judgment. Clean data proves nothing. Then your analysis. Show the path that you took to get the answer. And then the insight. What does the result actually mean? And finally, the recommendation. What should the business do next? That last step, the recommendation, is what separates an analyst from someone who just makes pretty charts. When you're done, you want one polished project, one clean dashboard or output, one short case study that walks through your thinking, and one explanation of what you did, and one portfolio page that's easy to find and easy to open. And here's your checkpoint. A hiring manager should be able to understand your project's problem, your process, and the value that you created in about 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. If it takes them more than that of digging and figuring out what you did, it's not proof yet. Is one product enough for this? For your first role, a single project that is genuinely strong and clearly explains beats five half finished ones every single time. Depth wins here. And while you're building the proof in August, you start doing something most people are too scared to do this early. You start testing the market before the big fall push. Because here's what you don't want. You do not want to wait until September to find out that your resume gets ignored or your positioning is confusing or that no one understands your project. You want to find out about it now while there's still time to fix it. So here's how you test it. First, ask for feedback. Share a resume on LinkedIn, Reddit, other analysts, mentors, and people in communities. Real eyes, not just friends who tell you that it looks great. Second, start low volume outreach. Begin actual conversations with people working in the roles and industries that you're targeting. Not 100 messages blasted out, a handful of real ones. Send out what I call diagnostic applications. And hear me out on this. The goal here is not to mass apply. The goal here is just to learn. You're trying to find out whether your resume actually gets responses at all. Which skills are you still missing? And whether people actually understand your project. What interview questions keep coming up? And whether the role that you pick is even realistic for where you are right now. Should a beginner apply before they're fully ready? Yes, because these early applications are not your final push. They're your market research. If you send 10 thoughtful applications and hear nothing back, that's not a failure, that's just data. It's telling you there's something on your resume or your positioning needs work before you scale up. You would much rather learn that from 10 applications in August than from the hundreds of applications in October when the clock is running out. So by the time the summer ends, you should be standing at a very specific checkpoint. So let's talk about it. Here's what you should have when August closes out: direction, one target role, one target industry, and real understanding of what those jobs are asking for. Skills, enough technical ability to complete basic analysis on your own, and the confidence to explain how you got there out loud. Proof, one strong, market relevant project, one portfolio page that anyone can open, and a clear story that you can tell what that project solved. Positioning, a polished resume, a clean LinkedIn, real connections in your target industry, and visible evidence that you've been doing the work all summer long. And feedback, early conversations, honest input on your positioning, a few targeted applications already out there, and a short list of the gaps you still need to close. Now, here's your readiness question, and I want you to actually answer it out loud. Can you clearly explain the role that you want, why your background is relevant, and what problem your project actually solved, what skills you use, and what value that you bring to a team? If you can explain all of that without freezing, you are ready for the fall. If you stumble on any of those, that's not a reason to panic. That's just your weak spot showing itself. Fix that one thing before you turn the application volume up. Don't pour water into a leaky bucket. And that brings us to the whole point of doing this in the summer, the fall. This is the payoff. September is the beginning of your job search. September is the moment that you take a system you already built and tested all summer and you turn the volume all the way up. So here's your fall system. First, increase your targeted applications. Now you apply with real intention to roles that match your target and your skill level because you already know your resume works and you tested it back in August. Second, keep networking, but build on the conversations that you already started in the summer. You're not going to be cold messaging strangers from zero in October. You're following up with people who already know who you are. Third, practice interviews every single week. SQL questions, explaining your project out loud, behavioral stories, your business reasoning, your personal pitch weekly, not the night before the interview. Fourth, improve through feedback. Track everything: applications sent, responses, recruiter conversations, interviews, where you keep getting rejected, what keeps coming up, and then you adjust from there. And here's the line I want you to remember: fall is not when you start preparing. Fall is when you take everything that you built over the summer and put more volume behind it. Give a strategy a few honest weeks before you change it. And when you get rejected, and you will get rejected, Do not take it personal and don't take it as a verdict on you. Take it as information. Every no is narrowing your aim. The people who win this don't get fewer rejections, they just learn faster from them. Now, before I let you go, let me save you some traps that will waste your whole summer. Do not collect a stack of certificates and call it progress. Do not build 5-week projects when one strong one would change everything. Do not learn every tool under the sun. Do not wait until the very end to fix your LinkedIn. And do not spend the whole summer buried in tutorials. Do not put off market feedback until the fall. And don't build projects that have nothing to do with the roles that you actually want. And the biggest waste of all is spending your entire summer preparing in private, totally invisible, and then discovering in October that no one out there understands what you built, who you are, and what you're trying to become. Do not build in the dark. Do it where people can see. But here's the thing, most beginner projects only prove you can follow directions. They don't prove that you can solve actual business problems or complex business problems. So watch this video next where I show exactly how to build a data analytics project that hiring managers can actually understand and trust. I'll see you in the next one.